and she's going to talk to you a little bit, kind of give her side to a problem that we have. Basically, to fill you in, anytime there's a legal drain in the county and it crosses the county road, the county highway is responsible for the pipe that goes right away to right away under the ground. Okay, and this is one that's got Amy and Soil and Water involved. I'll let her go ahead and explain a little bit. The reason she's here is we've had to tell her that there's two parts to this. There's an upper pipe, I think it's about 4 feet deep, and that we thought we had the money where we could replace that. Was that a 12-inch also, I believe? But the bigger problem is 15, 16, 17 feet down, there's another pipe that might need to be replaced. Obviously, I think what Amy's going to tell you is they'd like to have that all done at once. Our cost in there, and again, I'll let Amy, I don't have all my paperwork with me, but I think it was around $10,000 to the highway. We don't have that kind of money for pipes. I've talked to her about things we've talked over before, dealing with Hume Bridge, that kind of thing. And the highway takes 30-inch and down, and the Hume Bridge stuff is going to be 30-inch and 36 and up. This would fit into the 30 and down, so it would be ours. Again, we don't have the money for that. We can do the top part. We can't do the bottom, and Amy would like to see the whole thing done. So I'll let Amy talk to you now. And this can exist a couple of times a year, this type of problem. And then I have just a couple other things I'll go over real quick so you can get to the rest of your itinerary. Amy?
Brought you guys some packets so you can go through them with me.
Can I identify you, or would you like to identify yourself? Okay, this is Amy Leibarger. She's a district conservationist with the Natural Resources Conservation Service here in Columbia City.
First, I'd like to thank you for letting us come and talk to you. I've been working with Michael Barton and Brandon Forrester with the County Engineer's Office since January on this problem. This is a wetland restoration program permanent easement on the landowner of Bernard Doms, up on 600 North, about 1.5 miles west of State Road 109. And we were notified by the landowner that the water was coming up on his property, and that's the picture, the first picture I wanted to show you. That was taken in January of this year, and that sign that you're seeing is our identification sign of the Wetland Reserve Program, and there's a yellow basket, and the water was not up at high level yet at the time of this picture taking. But what I wanted to show you is the large amount of body of water that we had out here. It had gotten to over 60 acres in size, and it was encroaching the county highway road easement significantly to about the point of about 1.5 feet below the road elevation. So we were starting to get very nervous. This is, normally the water is 75 feet to 100 feet south of the road, so when it's right at the edge of the road, it makes us kind of nervous, especially when cars are involved. So we started doing investigations of what was causing the problem, and we really didn't know exactly what it was. We thought a beaver was involved. We had had problems with beaver before on this. It's kind of like that baseball field scenario, you know, build it and they'll come. Well, they had found this, and they had caused some, put some sticks and grass in the structure, and we had to have the conservation officer divers 2 years ago remove the obstruction, and it had been working fine, and we thought maybe they were back. And so one of the things I had to do was contact the divers, and they dove for us again in February, and they assured us that there was no obstructions, there was no sticks, no grass. And at that time, we put a basket, a control basket, to help alleviate the varmints from possibly getting in that area again. So that kind of took one thing off of the list, what it could be. And through a very potential serious accident, we found what the problem was. One of our engineers was walking with waders across that area, and this area here that shows that kind of pool, this was underwater by about a foot, and he found it. And he fell in and went over his head, and we got him out, and he wasn't hurt, but what caused us to realize now we had a tile blowhole. And to give you some information beforehand, we have replaced all the tile up to this section of tile on the north and south part of the road, what Michael was saying. So the only piece of tile that has not been replaced with new dual wall 12-inch is the section that we're needing fixed right now, and it happens to go underneath the county road. Michael has told me that this can only be done in an emergency situation, and an emergency situation would be potential road collapse and that tile collapsing and causing the road collapse. We don't want to have that happen, and the federal government is putting $19,000 behind this repair right now. We've lowered the water. Page number 2, if you want to keep going on the pictures. We had a contractor come in February, end of February, first part of March. That's the sinkhole that we drained. And then page number 3, we put up the snow fence to kind of make a visual eye barrier so people knew that, hey, there's a hole here, but it wasn't going to stop potentially somebody falling in there. Page number 3, the contractor dug down, and Michael alluded to it was 15 feet deep down, and he was using a backhoe at the time, just a little hoe on his tractor, and we were able to excavate out that hole. Page 4 shows the clay tile. I wanted to show you that. That is the old clay tile. Age of this tile is probably 70 to 80 years old. And in our job, we assume clay tile of that size to last at 40 to 50 years of life expectancy. So this has probably exceeded it by about 30 years. And what has happened now is, since this hole is opened up, air gets into these tile. And when air gets into clay tile, it starts to make them more brittle. When they are submerged and in the ground, the moisture keeps them moist and working. But when they get air to them in a tile break, then they start to deteriorate and become more brittle, and it's just a matter of time till the whole system breaks down. That is left, that is clay tile, and that's what we're talking about underneath the road. The next and last picture is the excavated trench. We did not install any more tile to that hole than we put in a new section of it was a 20-foot length plastic PVC 12-inch in that water channel up to that break, so we could continue the flow and to drop the water down with our water control structure. And that is where we are at today. The water is completely drained back. It's basically a mud flat out there with grasses and weeds growing. There's no water. We need to strike now to get this repaired. My engineers are ready. The contractor in the county is ready. And why I am at your place today is to bring the attention to you of the seriousness of this matter. And Michael had talked about the $10,000. It was $9,700, and that included a boring. And the set of plans that I gave you, the last page, the set of plans, it spells out to you what we are going to do for the repair. We're going to put in a new riser, 4-foot diameter riser, basically a manhole that a person can physically climb down and inspect, and that is on us. We are also going to put in an emergency. That is on us. What we are asking the county to do is 2 things. Replace the culvert, or put in a culvert, and use that also as an emergency for the road. and that would be approximately 4 feet deep, and then replace the county tile. As the cost estimate alluded to, $9,700, I've asked that was involving a boring, using a contractor to bore under the road. I've asked the contractor that we are working with to give me an estimate. I do not have it physically in hand for you, but verbally he has said, while he is on site, he can put in the culvert and replace the county tile, which would require those cages, the steel cages, because of the depth that we're working at. He would have that all in place because of our project. He said he will do it for $3,000 or less, billing to the county. We'll pick up the rest of the tab. But I cannot spend federal dollars on county easements. That's why I'm here today.
So it's 9,700 plus 3,000?
No, 9,700 reduced down to 3,000 or less. The 9,700 was an estimate to use as a boring,
Oh.
because the directional boring would have been less traumatic to the road.
Okay.
And we were going to have to dig on the north side. We had gotten the landowner's permission to dig on the north side and then directionally bore diagonal, because that would have been less stress on the road. We were trying to do whatever we could that was less stress. So that was that cost estimate. Since we are down there now, because we found the hole, we're down there. We are at 15 foot. It makes sense to make the road cut, put in the steel structures, fix this thing right, and we'll be done. So I'd like to request the county to work with us. Inappropriate $3,000 for the expense to fix the county tile and the culvert. And
Amy,
Michael
is
said,
it 3,000 plus materials?
yes.
Yeah.
Michael, I was just saying that.
Okay.
Michael said that he has the culvert, and do you have the tile as well on hand? No. Okay, he has a culvert that would work, but we would have to pay for the tile in this $3,000 and the construction. And I believe that 3,000 and less. And like I said, I was trying to get you a written estimate, but I wasn't able to do that. The weather's been too nice to have him sit down and pencil me out a bill. So, any questions, please?
I don't really have a question, but I do appreciate you working this down. And
Okay.
so my personal opinion is it's work. That's just Don Amber saying. I think it's workable. I think I would like to see us help you. I'm just not sure where the money should come from.
I appreciate that.
I would like some discussion on it from you guys. What's your thoughts?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we've got, I don't know if we can go to Cume Bridge on that or not. That's something maybe the engineer, we should talk to the engineer about.
See here.
Because that's a possibility.
Brandon has received a set of plans, and I've talked to him in depth about this. I think there's questions on what Q Bridge can do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, legally, Cume Bridge can pay for this. It's just up to Brandon as to whether he has the money to do it.
Right.
What do you think about the seating?
I think it'd be proper for seated funds also. I'm not sure.
What do you think about the seated, Tom?
Yeah, that might be a stretch, but if we could say it was somewhere along the line of economic development, channeled in there, we'd probably have the money in there if we could do it from that point. Maybe we could use seated and bridge cap. Maybe we could share it if it gets down. It'd be a lot easier for us to commit the county to that than if knowingly we know the problem's there and don't do anything, and somebody drives across there and falls in.
No, I think Amy's really documented the problem beautifully. I mean,
But,
picture's worth 1,000 words.
yeah,
I wanted to get out there this morning and show you a picture of what it looks like today. If
Well, I think it's more
If you look at the
impressive to see
first
that.
picture, there's like a little body of water in the back.
Yeah,
That's where it's at. There's nothing
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
It's bone dry.
yeah,
And
I think the pictures are great, Amy.
Okay.
I would just like, I'd like us to definitely help you with this project.
Appreciate it.
So,
We're very nervous over this situation. We want to get it fixed and repaired as fast as possible.
Okay.
We've had Mother Nature on our side, if you
Yep.
want to look at it that way.
Yep.
With it being dry this spring, and now's the time to get this thing fixed. One of the very dangerous things in February we were dealing with was the saturated soils. And we were very nervous about working in those saturated soils, even with the steel boxes. Collapses and cave-ins are not what we're wanting to do. But now the soils are completely dried out, and it would be a very easy repair, quick repair. And to make one more statement, our engineers, our federal engineers are involved in this project. They would be there every time frame during the construction. We certify the correctness of it. And one thing with federal standards are they are way above necessary because of the statutes that we have to work within. And I just want to let you know that they would be done according to federal specs. So it's,
and you have a contractor and they're ready to go
yes, sir,
on this. The only thing you
probably
really need
in
from us is
about a week.
you need a
week to 10
commitment
days.
for us for approximately $3,000 and the culvert and the tile.
Correct.
Is the culvert,
Michael, you had your hand, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we could pay for maybe a third of this cost. You know, it wasn't that we, I mean, we just couldn't do the whole big cost. At one time, we have a half year of pipe to put in yet this year, and but we could maybe do a third. Maybe somehow we can find 2 or 3 ways. Maybe we can put it all together and make it work.
Mr. Chairman, I would we'll have to come back probably on this, but I think we could give Amy a commitment that we'll come up.
Thank you
This is
so
in
much.
your district? Sure.
Yes.
Thorncreek.
Your discretionary.
There goes
funds.
his salary. But anyway,
Sorry.
a commitment if everybody is ready, and the highway department chip in, if we can get Brander to chip in, if we have to use seeded, I think we can come up
Okay.
with 1,000 in each one.
We appreciate it.
It certainly would keep Mr. Judd from ringing my phone off.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I'd like to have a motion that we approve.
I would make a motion that we give approval to this project, get it done before we have a serious accident.
and I'll second that motion.
We have a motion, a second, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you very
Amy.
much.
Thank you.